Satnam, I'm Devi here offering a bit of a discussion and then I'll pull some cards. As always, take what resonates and dismiss the rest. I respect your experience and encourage you to do your own research. So let this be a perspective to explore rather than a definitive. We'll talk a little bit about karmic looping, and this might show itself as like twin flames in separation or the empath narcissist dynamic or false flame, for example. It doesn't have to necessarily play out that way, but those are just examples of titles where you might see this triad that I'm speaking to. So consider your soul path, that your soul has signed up for a mission, and that mission and that understanding and your key insights are learned through your experience, your guide team, and those you encounter on this journey. And so you receive your personal message, your personal understanding, and then there's the transformative experience based on that that understanding. I don't know why that fell. There's like no one over there. And so you have your breakthrough. And when there is a connection that you're pulled to, that you just feel something, that you're drawn into, there's the collective experience between you and that individual. I'm going to call this the collective experience. And where the tether is the emotional set point. And, you know, I've done training in past life regression, and I don't want to call this like the past life, like where you broke off at that past life. To me, it's more of like time is a little bit more fluid than that, and that we can alter timelines and that we're working on multiple planes. And so you're healing in this lifetime where the tether that you feel is playing out in other timelines. Does that make sense? And so consider that emotional bond or that moment of separation in on a particular timeline, or what you're playing out in a particular timeline. So let's say there's a lot of guilt or resentment, for example, played out. And I mean, we could go in so many scenarios: parent, child, husband, wife, brother, sister. And then just think of the emotional frequency within those relationships. And then capture that emotional frequency and now place that in a new context of, you know, the barista and the customer, or husband and wife, or parent-child. You get what I'm saying? And so there's still that tether and emotional bond, that set point of the past, that you're now breaking through in this lifetime with new hats. And so sometimes, especially when there's these relationships that we're calling twin flames, or these twin flames in separation, or you feel someone's energy, this, to me, what I've experienced it more is with more romantic, and that's what I see when I give readings. It's that romantic bond that really captures our attention. And I feel like when you're feeling that other person, you're picking up on their processing of the experience themselves. So they're still going through their soul path. They're receiving their message and opportunity to transform their experience. And so you're both on two different timelines, and yet on different timelines together, playing out this opportunity to heal, learn, and grow at the soul level. And so you might be dreaming with, about, feeling, energy, emotions, or thoughts of another. And I've experienced this so much, and I've talked to people who have experienced it too, that, you know, I don't want to be like, yay, let's dance in delusion. Or, you know, like, we do need to be grounded in reality. We do need to put up energetic boundaries. We do need to rather than dance in delusion, be grounded in your solid experience of what's being delivered rather than what you're dreaming of. And so maybe instead of holding on to an experience in the dream world or those messages you receive, that energetic tie, still remain grounded in the pentacle energy, as not to override your personal needs. And so I think that's where the boundary between delusion and reality, it's like being aware of the dream, being aware of the matrix, and yet moving forward according to your soul growth, and being aware of the emotional set point, being aware of those other timelines, but not being looped into it and captivated by it to where it takes you away of your own personal empowerment and growth. So when we talk about false flames or that narcissistic empath loop, and not all these karmic triads that we are growing through are at the extreme of a codependent connection or empathetic or empath narcissistic tie. However, when we are reading for, speaking to the twin flame journey, this shows itself a lot. And so you have one individual feeding, feeling, enabling someone else and handing over their power, versus someone feasting on and capitalizing on someone else's vulnerability. And some of these are overt and just blatant manipulation, and some are a little bit more subtle abuses of power. Regardless of which side we're looking at, the growth point is standing in personal empowerment. So standing in your own power versus needing validation for another. Feeling solid in self rather than needing to trample on someone else for a sense of self. Feeling a sense of self as the self rather than through the validation of giving so much over. Does that make sense? All right, let's see what the cards have to say. And again, continue your own research. And again, I respect your... I'm going to start in reverse of what I usually do. I usually end with the oracle cards and start with the tarot, but I'm going to do just the opposite. I actually have a divine masculine messages deck, which is, yeah, it's kind of what encourages me to continue with the tarot, because I'm like, we've got to put out messages that are forward moving rather than dance in delusion. But people look to these readings because they're feeling in other layers and needing some sense of support. Because how do you speak to and how do you really understand? I'm dreaming of someone, I'm thinking of them, and yet there's nothing in my physical reality that supports that that's really happening. And no, you're not crazy, right? Because most of you that come to my readings have gifts. You're gifted souls and empaths, so you're not you're not losing it. So understanding your empathic gifts, understanding your rights to your own power, and understanding how you can work with your guide team to protect your energy, heal, and clear it. I miss you dearly. I dream of you all the time. So sometimes we want to hear, yeah, those dreams are real. Yeah, I feel like you miss me too, even though you don't call or text, right? And so I don't elaborate any further, because I think these are speaking for themselves. put it in. It takes a while for for food in the fridge to go stale, right? Especially when it has like artificial ingredients. So when things are built on false pretenses, right? It could take a little bit longer to go stale because there's ingredients in there that keep it alive. There are the ways in which we are comfortable in our patterns. And it takes some time to grow beyond that and to open up to see it and to feel it and to recognize, I don't know why the lettuce is standing out. Recognize that when you deserve something healthier and that it's time. Bottom deck. Ten of Wands, releasing the burden. When you are feeling someone else's energy, that's draining. When you're dreaming of someone and they're not part of your daily reality, that's draining because that sends you in your own mental loop, right? And so you deserve to have your own energy. This is why we did our talk on energetic boundaries, right? And then you probably hear Divine Scarlet and I talk about boundaries a lot. You don't have to carry that heavy load. Keep it flying, my war bonds. Are you going to invest in yourself or are you going to keep up with the fight? Learn to manage your energy in a new way. Bottom deck, 7. This takes some time to get out of the loop. Think of any breakup, no matter what level it's on, when you have to pack up your bags and leave a house and relocate. That's a transition. Oh, imagine you have to reclaim your thoughts because you get the thoughts of others. You have to reclaim your body because you're feeling the energy of another. Reclaim the night because you're dreaming with another. And so it's a constant checking in with yourself and choosing courage, choosing thoughts that are aligned with your soul growth and not the tethered version of you in another timeline. And learning to flow with those waves of what's yours and what's not, knowing that's always all temporary and a choice to feed into it or cut it. Well, I do hope this served well. Sending lots of love your way.